I am speechless, honestly. When we started this project to have this discussion here in Parliament today, we had a lot of doubts whether we would manage to bring so many legislators from all over the world to speak together, to share experiences, and to give hope to future generations. There were moments where we were giving up, because obviously we're a very small country at the periphery of two continents, and sometimes finding flights to come here is quite difficult, especially when you have EuroPride going on and you have tens of thousands of people joining us here in the streets of Floriana and Valletta to celebrate love. But we managed, and I have to thank so many people, and probably it's better not to thank anyone because I'll end up forgetting someone, which shouldn't be done. But if I could just share a few messages. First of all, to Claudette and Graziella, thank you so much. You are not irrelevant. You have done so much for the community, even when it was much more difficult than today, and I know what it means to fight, sometimes with people who might have the best of intentions. However, unfortunately, they cannot see how important it is for everyone to have the same rights. I know that you've been there from the beginning, suffering at times, maybe even today, but thank you, honestly, for all that you have done. Thank you to Katja and Randolph for being here, for always supporting what we do. And Mr. Deputy Speaker, I thank you for hosting this, and obviously the Speaker who couldn't be with us today. Randolph mentioned Honourable Fox, and I think that when we were creating this, and as soon as we knew that one of the only two people in the Ugandan Parliament who voted against the Kill the Gays bill was going to be here, we thought that that was going to be the biggest honor of having someone who, irrespective of the hate that is going on in Uganda, irrespective of the threats, irrespective of the bigoted hate that we're seeing, you stood up, you spoke out, you took government to court, you won, then the law went again to Parliament, it got voted in again, you were the only one to fight it, you're taking this to court, but we want you to know that you're not alone. We're all with you here, and there are so many others across the globe who will continue supporting you and supporting other members who are here from Africa and from other countries who have very big difficulties in order for you as well to achieve what some of us here have managed to achieve. And you are heroes for what you're doing in your respective countries, as I need to also mention my friend David Bedo in Hungary, who is doing an extremely good job against a lot of hate, my friend from Romania, and so many others, where it is so difficult at the moment. But I know one thing, because when we started this fight ourselves, and when we felt what you are feeling today, the one thing that I think, looking back, makes us mostly happy and satisfied with what we have done is the positive change that we have brought to a number of people. And in my mind, I remember a few, like Joanne Kassar, who had been 4 years going to the Maltese courts, one court after another, trying to, as a trans woman, trying to marry her male partner. However, this country did not treat her as one of her children. And she had to keep on going to the Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg. On the first day of a new government in 2013, over a phone call between myself, Silvana Jus, today Commissioner Helena Dalli, and some others, we saw what we could do to have Joan Kassar given all her rights. And in fact, then she left her court case in the European Court of Human Rights because she was treated like all of the other women here in this country. And only a few weeks ago, we went to Gozo, Randolph and I, and we saw her smile on her face as she was there with her husband and 2 children, eating some pastizzi. And the joy that they have as a family is one of those things that give you all that satisfaction. The positive change that we brought here to those people who loved each other but could never show or have that love recognized. The smile on the face of 2 parents, Ronald and Mary, as soon as they saw their child marry his lifelong partner, that smile and satisfaction that they had on their face, that their child was treated like all their other children, and that they could, like all the children that they have, get married as well to the person that they loved. The positive change we brought to baby Ben. An amazing story. A baby born with different chromosomes. He is a person with Down syndrome. Unfortunately, his biological parents could not cope with his reality. A number of different sex couples, straight couples, rejected him from adoption, one after the other. But Ben was the first child to be adopted in Malta by same-sex parents. And today, this child is growing up into a beautiful boy who knows that, irrespective of the differences that he has, different chromosomes, he can live in a country that treats him the same as all other children, and he has all the opportunities, like all other children, to succeed. The positive change we brought to the 2% in our society who are intersex. When we legislated the Gender Identities, Gender Expression and Sexual Characteristics Act, there were questions, but what are intersex? Who are intersex people? There's no one, we know no one who's intersex. 2% of the population are intersex, and we stopped our medical institutions from giving them surgery without their consent and allowing them to decide their gender when they grow up. This is what we did in 2016. And I must mention one of my great friends, Joseph, who we brought a change to people who passed through something like he did when he was pushed towards convergent practices in the false religious hope that he could somehow become straight. There are so many funerals I went to when I was young of people that couldn't be who they are. Trans, gay men who had a whole life in front of them. But unfortunately, it was cut short because of the hate. And today we will be marching for them. But thank you. But as my colleague said from Malta, from the opposition party, the fight is not won yet. We have laws, we have very strong laws, but as we have seen even last week, there is still hate. As we have seen today, there is still hate, and we need to keep on working to opening minds and softening hearts. And as we will all be marching today for different reasons, mainly equality and love, as I said, I will be marching for those who are not with us and who couldn't enjoy the privileges that we have today and the rights that we have today. But I will also be marching for others and with them here in Malta. And I mentioned Shakib, Dali, Musa, and so many migrants, people who are fleeing persecution throughout the world, who came here to Malta in the hope of having equal rights, but unfortunately, till today, they are not given those equal rights as each and every one of us. And I hope that someday we'll see some of them in Parliament, as you have done in Belgium, representing those who live in the community, because we are all equal. I will also be marching for those in Ukraine, the unicorn soldiers, who are currently passing through maybe the worst time of their life, who cannot go out in their streets of Kiev, Kharkiv, or wherever they are, because of the threat that Russia is giving them, and the threat that Russia is giving each and every one of us here in the room. Because the Russian war invasion on Ukraine isn't simply a war of missiles and bullets, but it is also a war of ideology, and they're trying to destroy all that we have built in the wonderful European Union we're part of, to try and dismantle our values, to try to dismantle our union, and to try and dismantle the love, equality, and belonging that we all have towards each other and towards all that we believe in. Thank you very much for coming here. And I need to thank Mr. Malia, our friend Pierre, for all the patience that he had to take with in order to organize this. Thank you very much.